There's a truth most men never want to face until it's too late. The woman he gave his heart to, the one he thought would stand by his side forever, suddenly walks away. No warning, no tears, no hesitation. And he's left standing in the wreckage, replaying every memory, every word, asking himself, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? Why didn't she fight for me the way I fought for her? If you're watching this, maybe you know that pain. Maybe you've been the man left broken, abandoned by someone you would have given your life for. Or maybe deep down, you live with the fear that one day, the woman you love will leave without explanation, without a chance to fix things. That fear is real. That silence is devastating. And when it happens, it feels like your entire world collapses overnight. But here's the brutal truth. Women don't leave for no reason. They leave because something inside them has already died, long before they walked out the door. They leave when they feel unheard, unseen, or unloved. They leave when they no longer respect the man they're with. And they leave because deep down, they've made a choice. You are no longer their future. This isn't about blaming women. This is about reality. A reality most men refuse to accept until it's staring them in the face. You see, love is not guaranteed. Loyalty is not guaranteed. No matter how much time, money, or effort you invest, if she loses her respect for you, her love will fade. And when it does, she won't hesitate to leave. So today, we're going to uncover the harsh truth, the psychology behind why women walk away, the emotions they never say out loud, and the painful lessons that can either break you or set you free forever. This won't be easy to hear. In fact, some of what I'll say may cut deep. But if you truly listen, if you take these truths to heart, you'll never see love the same way again. And that understanding might just save you from years of confusion, weakness, and heartbreak. Because once you know why women leave without looking back, you'll finally understand how to build the kind of life and the kind of strength that no one can ever walk away from. Number 1. Women leave when they feel emotionally dead. Inside. A relationship doesn't collapse in one big explosion. It usually fades piece by piece, moment by moment. It's not the fights that kill it, not the forgotten dates, not even the mistakes that could have been forgiven. The truth is, most women leave long before they ever walk out the door. They leave in silence, emotionally, when they feel unseen, unheard, and unnoticed for too long. A woman doesn't abandon a man because of one argument. She leaves because the 1,000 small cuts of neglect have finally bled her dry. She leaves when she cries quietly at night, and he doesn't even notice her tears. She leaves when her laughter disappears, and he doesn't ask why the light in her has dimmed. She leaves when she feels like she's sharing her life with a man who doesn't truly see her soul. That is the moment when something inside her begins to die. And once a woman reaches that point, once she feels invisible, her heart starts to shut down. She may stay physically, out of habit, out of comfort, or out of fear of change, but emotionally, she has already begun to drift. By the time she actually packs her bags or says the words, "I'm done," it's not a sudden decision. It's the final step in a process that started long ago. Men often stand there shocked, asking, "Why didn't I see this coming? Why didn't she tell me?" But the truth is, she did. She showed it in her silence, in her fading joy, in the way her love grew quieter and colder. The signs were there, but too often ignored. And when she finally leaves, she doesn't look back, because she already said her goodbyes in her heart months, sometimes even years, before. This is why so many men feel blindsided when a woman walks away. They think it happened overnight, but in reality, the relationship was already gone. He just wasn't paying attention. A woman doesn't leave because she wants to. She leaves because staying feels like slowly killing herself inside. And once she chooses her peace over his presence, there's no force in the world that can make her return. That is the brutal truth most men learn too late. Number 2. Consistency matters more than grand gestures. Many men make a mistake. They believe that a few big gestures, an expensive gift, a sudden trip, a surprise dinner, will keep a woman forever. But women don't stay for fireworks. They stay for consistency. A relationship is not held together by rare moments of excitement, but by the steady rhythm of everyday love. She remembers the small things, the nights when you listened to her after a hard day, the mornings when you hugged her before leaving for work, the unexpected little texts that said, "I miss you." These are the things that quietly tell her, you matter. You're loved. You're seen. When those small things disappear, she starts to drift. She begins to wonder if you still care, if you still value her the same way you once did. And here's the harsh reality. Once a woman feels she has to beg for your attention, the relationship is already on life support. Most men don't see it coming. They think one big surprise or an expensive gift will erase months of neglect. But it doesn't work that way. Love starves slowly, not all at once. A woman doesn't usually leave because of one fight or one mistake. She leaves because of a long pattern of silence, indifference, and lack of effort. She leaves because she's tired of giving her heart to someone who shows up only when it's convenient. Men lose women, not because they didn't do enough big things, but because they stopped doing the little things that mattered the most. Women crave security, attention, and effort on a consistent basis. They don't want to feel like they're competing for your time and energy. They want to know that they hold a permanent place in your priorities. The truth is, consistency is proof of love. Without it, passion fades, trust breaks, and connection dies. So if you want to keep her, don't just wait for special occasions to show your love. Show it in the quiet moments, in the daily habits, in the words and actions that never stop reminding her that she's the one. Because in the end, consistency is what keeps love alive. Number 3. She outgrows the version of you that stays the same. Men often believe that if a woman once loved them, that love will remain untouched, frozen in time, unchanged by the passing years. But love doesn't stand still. Life moves forward. People evolve. Dreams expand. Ambitions grow. A woman who is committed to her own growth will not stay stagnant. And if the man she's with refuses to grow alongside her, she will eventually feel like she's dragging dead weight. This is one of the most painful realities men overlook. A woman will not remain with a man who chooses to stay the same. At first, she may try to encourage him. She'll motivate him, push him, beg him to dream bigger, to work harder, to believe in himself, to take care of his health, his career, his future. She will stand by his side, not because she wants to leave him behind, but because she wants him to rise with her. But when he ignores her pleas, when he resists growth, when he chooses comfort over progress, she begins to feel lonely, even in the relationship. Over time, her respect for him erodes. A woman can forgive mistakes, but she cannot admire a man who stays small while she is becoming greater. She cannot look up to someone who has no vision, no drive, no hunger to become more. And without admiration, love slowly withers. Eventually, she accepts a hard truth. She can't carry the relationship forever. She can't dim her own light just to make him comfortable in the shadows. She can't keep shrinking her dreams to fit the limits he places on himself. So, she makes the choice to leave. And when she does, she rarely looks back. Not because she didn't love him, but because she loved him enough to give him every chance to rise, and he chose not to. That choice destroys the bond more than any argument ever could. It isn't one fight or one mistake that ends it. It's the silent realization that he has decided to remain the same man forever. And for a woman who values growth, that is something she can never accept. The truth is simple but brutal. Love requires evolution. If you do not grow, you get left behind. She will outgrow the version of you that refuses to change, and by the time you realize it, she will already be gone. Number 4. When respect dies, love follows. Most men don't realize this truth until it's too late. When a woman finally decides to leave, it's rarely sudden. It's not a single fight, not one argument, not one mistake that drives her away. Long before she ever packs her bags, long before she ever says goodbye, she's already been fighting for the relationship, alone. She tried to make you see what was wrong. She tried to talk to you about her feelings. She asked you for more effort, more presence, more love. And when her words didn't reach you, she tried dropping hints. She gave you silent warnings in her eyes, in her tone, in her distance. She was waiting for you to notice. She was hoping you would fight for her. She wanted you to show her that she was worth the effort. But when nothing changed, something inside her did. The begging stopped. The reminders stopped. The arguments stopped. She stopped asking. And here's the reality every man needs to understand. Once a woman stops asking, she's already halfway gone. Because by then, she's accepted the truth. She's accepted that she cannot carry the weight of the relationship on her own. She's accepted that her love is no longer being matched. And once she accepts that, her heart begins the slow process of letting go. That's why when she finally leaves, she doesn't cry the way you do. She doesn't collapse with shock the way you might, because she already did her crying in private. She cried the nights you didn't notice her pain. She cried while lying next to you, feeling more alone than if she were by herself. She cried when she realized she was loving a man who wasn't fighting to keep her. By the time she walks away, her tears have already dried. Her heart has already hardened. Her goodbye isn't an explosion, it's silence. And that silence is final. That's why men are always so shocked when it happens. They think it came out of nowhere. They think she left suddenly. But her goodbye didn't happen in a moment. It happened slowly, day after day, piece by piece, while you were too blind to see it. And by the time she's gone, there is no bringing her back, because she gave you every chance to fight for her. And when you didn't, she learned to fight for herself instead. And that's a fight she will never lose. Number 5. She's already tried to save the relationship alone. Here's something many men don't see. When a woman leaves, it's almost never sudden. Long before her footsteps walked out the door, her heart had already been slipping away. She didn't just wake up one morning and decide she was done. No, she tried. She tried in ways you didn't notice, in ways you brushed aside, in ways you thought didn't matter. She talked to you about her feelings, not once, but over and over, hoping you'd listen with your heart, not just your ears. She asked for more effort, not because she wanted to nag, but because she wanted to feel chosen, wanted, and valued. She dropped hints about what was missing, small signals in her words, her silence, her body language. She gave you silent warnings, those long pauses, those tired sighs, those distant looks. She waited for you to notice. She prayed you'd wake up before it was too late. She hoped you would fight for her, show her that the love she believed in was real, alive, and worth saving. But when nothing changed, when her words turned into echoes, bouncing off your indifference, she stopped asking. And that, my brother, is the death bell of love. Because once a woman stops asking, once she gives up trying to reach you, she's already halfway gone. By the time she finally leaves, you see tears in her eyes, but they are not new. They are the remnants of all the tears she cried alone, in silence, when you didn't notice. She doesn't cry like you do in the aftermath, because her grieving started long before you even knew the relationship was in danger. She cried in the bathroom so you wouldn't hear. She cried on her pillow while you slept peacefully beside her. She cried in her car before walking in with a smile, just to keep the peace. So when you see her leave with calmness, with a quiet strength, it's not because she doesn't care. It's because she already gave everything she had, every piece of her heart, every ounce of her patience, and every tear she could shed. And when that well ran dry, she let go. Not suddenly, but slowly, silently, painfully. That's why so many men feel shocked when women finally walk away. They think the goodbye happened in a moment, but the truth is, it happened over months, maybe even years. Her goodbye wasn't a word, it was a process. It wasn't an explosion, it was erosion. By the time she closed the door, she was already gone. Number 6. She believes she deserves better, and she chooses herself. At the end of the day, here is the harshest truth of all. A woman doesn't leave because she suddenly stopped loving. She leaves because she realizes that loving him means abandoning herself. She begins to understand that staying in a place where she feels unseen, unheard, and unvalued is the slowest form of self-destruction. And no matter how much her heart aches, no matter how many memories she holds, there comes a moment when she looks at her reflection and says, "I deserve better." That is the moment everything shifts. She doesn't leave because she wants to. She leaves because she has no choice. If she wants to protect her spirit, a woman will fight for love. She will sacrifice, she will bend, she will forgive more times than she should. But when she sees that nothing changes, when her effort becomes invisible, when her love is taken for granted, she realizes that her worth cannot be measured by someone else's blindness. She chooses peace over chaos. She chooses dignity over disappointment. She chooses self-respect over temporary comfort. She chooses growth over stagnation. And once that choice is made, there is no going back. Because looking back means reopening wounds she already decided to heal. A man may think she is being cold, distant, or heartless, but the truth is she is finally being loyal to herself. She is finally giving herself the love she begged for, the attention she longed for, and the care she deserved. This is why when a woman leaves, she rarely comes back, because she didn't just walk away from a man. She walked toward herself. And once she learns how to stand in her own strength, once she tastes the freedom of not begging for love, once she feels the peace of not having to explain why she matters, she cannot unlearn it. Her leaving isn't the end of her story. It's the beginning of her rebirth. And for the man who lost her, it feels sudden, it feels brutal, it feels like betrayal. But for her, it was survival. For her, it was the only way to stop abandoning herself in the name of keeping someone else. She didn't stop loving him. She simply started loving herself more. And that, in the end, is a love she will never walk away from. If you've been left behind by a woman you loved, I know the silence feels like thunder, louder than any goodbye. I know the emptiness sits heavier than any argument you ever had. But understand this, it was never just about one fight, one mistake, or one bad day. Her leaving was the result of years of small things you didn't notice, unspoken words you never said, and changes you promised but never made. Every ignored feeling, every brushed off concern, every moment she felt unseen, built up into something you never realized was breaking her down. And by the time you noticed, her heart had already walked away. That truth is painful, but pain, if you let it, can be your greatest teacher. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Face it. Because what hurts you today can shape you into the man you were always meant to be. If you are a man watching this, take this as your wake-up call. Stop waiting until it's too late to change. Grow into someone who doesn't just love in words, but in actions. Evolve into a man who doesn't just protect physically, but protects trust, respect, and peace. Love with consistency, not just when it's convenient. Listen not to reply, but to truly understand. Never let the woman you love feel invisible when she's standing right in front of you. Because when she leaves without looking back, it's not sudden. It's the final chapter of a story you stopped writing long ago. And once that door closes, it rarely opens again. But here's the hope. You can learn before it happens. You can take this pain and use it to build a love that lasts, a love that feels safe, a love that feels alive, a love that doesn't leave. So don't just scroll past this message. Reflect on it. Sit with it. Let it pierce your pride and break down your excuses. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because you never know. This might be the very truth that saves their relationship. And if this spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe to Stoicism Reborn, and join us as we uncover more truths about life, love, and self-mastery. Because sometimes, the harshest truths are the ones that set you free.